It is very exciting to see all of you here today. My name, as already mentioned, Ludwig, and I am the CEO and one of the co-founders of Futura UF.
My name is Scholt Lin, and I am the marketing manager and the other co-founder of Futura UF. We're very thrilled to talk with all of you about our business model today and how we can provide a perspective on how to solve the difficulties with integrating newly arrived citizens into the Swedish labor market.
Yes, but before we will begin, we will want to give you some background information on why we started Futura and our story behind all this. So, during the year 2015, there was around 163,000 people that searched for asylum in Sweden. And around 35,000 people got a residence permit, and at the same time, the majority of these applications have not yet been decided. So we can say that Sweden, during 2015, had never in the face of history been faced with that many people searching for asylum during 1 year.
And our region, West Norrland, has been the 8th biggest region welcoming asylum seekers during the last years. In the end of December 2014, there was about 7,740 people that registered at the Swedish Migration Agency. And a high percentage of this group has a hard time to get into the employment.
Yes. So the situation with the newly arrived puts a huge pressure on Swedish authorities and on the Swedish government. And people all around the country that we have talking with always expect this transition process to go smooth and well working. But unfortunately, according to Statistics Sweden, we can see that it takes up to 9 years to get half of the people that came here in 2015, 2014, to get them into employment. And according to me, I think 9 years is pretty long time to get into employment. So what will the consequences be if we cannot succeed with the integration? And how will that impact the economy, the labor market, and in particular the lives of all the people that have now become a part of our society?
Yes, so during this time of year in 2016, me and Lavi sat down and discussed. Is there in any way possible for us to be a part of the movement that works daily with making this region a better place for newly arrived citizens? And it was during that time we began working on our business model.
So the first question we asked ourselves was basically, why is this problem existing? Why does it take so much time to get into employment? And one answer we could very fast identify was that companies, especially around this region, did not hire newly arriveds. And of course, this is because of many reasons. But then we looked, what is the Swedish authority, Arbetsförmedlingen, what do they do to solve this problem? How do they encounter the difficulties with making it more attractive for companies to hire from this sector?
We then found out they have a certain plan for solving these kind of issues. They provide companies subsidized employment contracts when hiring newly arrived, which is something they offer all over the country. But in our region, we saw that the companies did not really find the attraction to use the offers that the authority provides. So the result of that is that it can form a kind of gap, where companies that are in need of working force do not see these offers as attractive as the government intended them to be. And the newly arrived citizens do not come out on the labor market on an effective way.
And this is around here our journey begins, and when we started this company. We gathered all the information we knew and we had found out, and we finally had our way of approach, because we wanted it to make companies to see the great potential when hiring newly arriveds, just in the purpose of creating a better region for both local businesses and for the newly arriveds. So we looked at these deals that Arbetsförmedlingen is offering, and we studied them very closely. We looked how do they work in practice? How do companies use them in practice? And how can companies get up to 70% of the salary supported by the Swedish government? and Arbetsförmedlingen, of course. So we did this in the purpose of understanding and making it easier for companies to understand how they can hire without making this process too difficult.
So what we did then was then we're creating this following four-part business model that we are now beginning to offer companies around the region that are in search of hiring people. So, like Ludwig said earlier, Arbetsförmedlingen offers companies the opportunity to receive financial compensation when hiring newly arrived citizens. So we have contact with actors at Arbetsförmedlingen in order to identify which type of contract that suits a particular job or workplace. Therefore, we are able to work in direct contact with companies that are interested in these contracts. We communicate clearly what these sort of deals means and how they can be combined with our marketing project, Integrera Mera.
Yes, and Integrera Mera on the top there is our sort of marketing project who will extend throughout Västernorrland. The idea behind the product is to visualize the companies that hire newly arrived citizens. And we want to do this just to highlight the important work they're doing to reduce the growing exclusion that we're now seeing in our society, and that we see politicians are talking about every day on how to solve. So we want to have this from a new perspective and see how can we tackle these problems, but not from the ordinary way that most have been doing earlier. So we also have facilitate the establishment process. So we want to help our clients to find the person that are best suited for their workplace. Because many newly arriveds that come to Sweden, they have very good qualifications that can be valued very much at specific workplaces. And when we sat down, we thought that is something that is so truly important when want to make a good match between a company and a newly arrived. So now we have also created our own database where those who are in need of a job are able to sign up. We then identify whether they go under the subsidized employment contracts and how we can help them to get into employment.
And we have also been in contact with the organizations that is working with integration in the region in the purpose of creating as many successful matches as possible.
Yes. So our way of approach has from the beginning seen how can we through various perspectives make an impact when want to improve the integration. So we hope our perspective on how to tackle the difficulties will make a difference and perhaps inspire others to engage in this so important movement. So thank you for listening to us today.
Thank you.
Wow. I'm so impressed, and I also watched like your website and everything. I mean, you do this with style as well. It looks really, really good. So I want to hire you just to help me with my website, I think. So it's great. But age is not an issue, really, right? It doesn't really matter. But how old are you guys?
18.
18.
Yes.
Soon 19
Soon
in 9
19.
days.
Soon
In a couple
19,
of
but
months,
still.
somebody's interested.
Wow. And I think they had done more than me and my politician colleagues have done for centuries. I don't know. So this is fabulous. So how did you? I mean, you said you started to discuss like the situation in the society. You go to school and you had the opportunity to actually start your own business.
Yes.
Yes. How come you ended up doing this? I mean, you could do like I don't know, marketing, journalism. Painting pictures, whatever.
Bake
Yes.
cookies, yeah.
Baking cakes or...
Exactly.
I mean, how did you... What drives you to do this?
I mean, like the start was just, then we just started wondering what would we do. And then we just came up with an idea that we have seen on the news, that there was so much talk about this integration problem. And then we just came up with an idea about how we can solve on some stadium. Like
we started, I think, around 1.5 years ago, or something like that, discussing first we talked about integration and how can we be a part of this and how can we make a difference. So I think we had a lot of ideas in the beginning.
Yes.
Pretty much of them, and when we look back at them, maybe not all of them was so good, but at last we found our way of approach on how to make an impact and how to maybe inspire other movements that are in Sweden that are working with this today, but maybe not all of them see it the way we see it. So, yes.
I've learned a lot today by listening to a lot of people who's been up here and on link as well. But I can see that what you started with today, Ray, you said ask questions. And the first thing you said when you entered the stage was like, we ask some questions. I'm like, yes, they got it, they got it. So you're right on here. It's what kind of response do you get when you present your business to people or?
We do get good response.
Yeah,
we do.
Yes,
I think we have during this year we have worked with the business model a lot and put a lot of effort and time on doing it the right way. So this week we will be with a lot of different companies that are going through the same school the way we're doing at a place here in Sundsvall. 250 of them, I think there'll be.
Young entrepreneurs,
yes,
it's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another kind of event.
Another kind of event, so we'll see if my voice will make it through the week, but exactly.
Yeah. Well, we're so happy you actually took time and you visited us. This is really inspiring. And because when we meet here, we want to talk about what can we do today to actually change the future. And I think your business is really a great example of how to do this. Yeah. You also mentioned you studied sort of our local environment more closely. You didn't go, you look what's the world like, you look what Sundsvall or perhaps Västernorrland, what's our challenges. Do you think it's a bit different here if you compare, if you would do this in Stockholm or London or?
I think especially if we look at Sweden, we've seen that when we talked about 2015 and 2014, when a lot of people came here, not all, especially different Västernorrland and different areas, haven't had the time or maybe the capacity to be fully prepared on how to tackle these questions. And I think we can see that, especially when Västernorrland is the 8th biggest region that have welcomed asylum seekers, but not the integration maybe haven't gone the way that was intended to be in the beginning. So
exactly. But we think that no matter what region you look in Sweden, it's still a problem, and it's always going to be a problem. But we can light up the problem.
How do they react? I mean, the newly Swedes. How do they react when you meet them and you tell them about this?
Firstly, they think we're very young. A lot of them.
Yes.
So
like, how can
you
you do this?
Lisa said age is not an issue.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
true. So we met a lot of different people, and they're very wanna be a part of this, and they think it's very cool that we're doing this, and we have always wanted to show that we are here, and we wanna try to make a better region for you and a place for you to live, where you can be a part of the Swedish society, to get into employment and to get easier integration. So I think we have gotten a good response when we have been out on various places in particular Sundsvall to talk with people that are in need of a job and came here as an asylum seeker. Exactly.
That's perfect. I think it's I mean, we laughed when you said 9 years to get a job. It's a long time. I think this is the good thing with like young people's perspective, because for me 9 years ago, well, my first kid was born. It feels like time passed so quickly, right? But for them, that's half a lifetime. And nothing has happened for half a lifetime. So that's why we need people with different ages and from different backgrounds and so on. I hope we would really like to follow how this business is going to work. So please stay in contact with the rest of us here. We would really like to follow. If we can do anything to help you guys, just contact us.
Absolutely. Our webpage there, and we have on Facebook as well.
Visit us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.